Hey there guys, DeAndre Yates here and welcome to another episode of Subtract Reactions, where we subtract the bullshit and give you guys honest reactions. So today I'm going to be reacting to a John Oliver video. This is Mike Pence last week tonight with John Oliver. This is very different from the videos that I react to. And, regardless of your fucking political affiliation, John Oliver, he's fucking hilarious. Since he's on HBO, he doesn't have that barrier, so he can say fuck, he can say shit, he can say damn, he can say bitch ass motherfucker, and it's perfectly fine because he's on HBO. So I fucking love that shit. But he's not afraid to talk about serious topics and actually be blunt as fuck with them, you know what I mean? So I fucking love that shit, dude, man. Like, what if every fucking news station was like last week tonight with John Oliver? Dude, that would be so fucking sweet, you know what I mean? Whether you're female, whether you're male, as long as you're spitting the truth and being blunt as fuck. Or you could be like fucking Action News off of OKKO with Dynamite Watkins. Yo, we need some more newscasters like her. Dynamite Watkins. Dude, Ian Cordy Jones, you need to make more Dynamite Watkins episodes. Please, just fucking kick ass. I love that shit. She needs your help show. Put her on Last Week Tonight with John Oliver. Yo, HBO, make some more cartoons. So what if we could get shows like Steven Universe and Adventure Time and Regular Show and OKKO and just all these fucking animated shows and shit like that, but like blunt ass fucking, just not afraid to get in your face and get all fucking crazy like Rick and Morty, you know what I mean? So you got the fucking cussing and you got the fucking mature ass fucking elements and just stupid crazy ass fucking shit. Not all the time, but like it has the freedom to do that because it's on HBO, you know what I mean? Like Game of Thrones, you know what I mean? Game of Thrones actually is very violent. There's a lot of sex in there too, so.
Mike Pence, Vice President of the United States, and whatever the exact opposite of a silver fox is. I'm going to go with Ashen Weasel. And if you're wondering why talk about Pence, well, with all the recent focus on who Trump is firing at the White House, it is worth remembering the one person that cannot actually happen to.
President Trump cannot but see Mr. Pence as the indispensable man in his inner circle. He is, Brett, by statute, the one person in the West Wing to whom Donald Trump cannot say, "You're fired."
That is true. Now, while in many ways Pence is like any other Trump employee, ethically compromised, creeped the fuck out by Jared, and subjected to all sorts of unwanted physical contact,
oh my God!
Constitutionally, the only official in the White House that Trump can't fire, and that is worrisome, because he is synonymous with some extreme positions, like his opposition to abortion and gay rights. Just listen to Omarosa, who, remember, had first-hand experience working with him.
We would be begging for days of Trump back if Pence became president. That's all I'm saying. He's extreme. I'm Christian. I love Jesus. But he thinks Jesus tells him to say things. I'm like, Jesus ain't say that.
Oh, shit!
Omarosa is right there. Also, I'm pretty sure the original titles of the New and Old Testaments were Jesus said this and Jesus ain't said that. So if Pence is that terrifying, tonight, let's take a look at him. And if there are any Mike Pence supporters watching this, I cannot promise that he is going to come out of tonight's show looking great. But I can promise that I will say something nice about him before this piece is over. You have my word on that. So
he's gonna say like the smallest thing at the end or some shit.
The old, boring, principled contrast to Donald Trump. But the truth is, he's been more than willing to defend the indefensible. And while all politicians equivocate, Pence is exceptionally good at dodging tough questions. Just look at this interview from just after Trump tweeted, entirely falsely, that he had won the popular vote if you just deducted the millions of people who voted illegally. Watch how many times Pence refuses to engage in the premise of the question.
That statement is false. Why is it responsible to make it?
Well, I think the president-elect just wants to call to attention the fact that that there has been evidence over many years of
That's not what he said.
And expressing that reality. The Pew Research Center found evidence of that 4 years ago. Is certainly his right. But
is his right to make false statements?
Well, it's his right to express his opinion as the president-elect of the United States. I think one of the things that's refreshing about our president-elect. And
he's letting him go on though. I'm gonna stop this.
With people all across this country is because he tells you what's on his mind.
I would have called him out and be like, yo, you're dodging, dude.
I don't know that is a false statement, George, and neither do you.
But Yes, you do, though, because everyone knows that statement was bullshit, which is why it's a little alarming that Pence would be so willing to defend a complete lie by calling it refreshing. Because if that's the standard, you can say all sorts of things in the names of refreshment. You could say Mike Pence spent $400,000 having his penis surgically replaced with a marshmallow peep. Is that true?
What?
But try telling me you're not refreshed hearing about it.
Oh my God, that
But
picture
despite
though.
lies like that, Pence is well liked among evangelical voters, 8 out of 10 of whom voted for the Trump-Pence ticket. And he does have impeccable credentials as a social conservative. Pence used to have a local radio show, The Mike Pence Show, in the 90s, where he sounded off on hot-button issues. And while current Pence is controlled and polished, back then he was surprisingly animated. Just listen to him address one day's topic with some real contempt in his voice.
Early in the week, we talked about whether or not it was time to rethink this whole business of women in the military.
Wait, what the fuck is that tone? He's saying women in the military with the same bemused skepticism you used to describe this whole business of dinosaurs in medical school or Cher in the starting lineup for the Cleveland Cavaliers. She's a bench player at best. You restrict her minutes. We all know that. And look, he wasn't just being provocative there. He means it. 2 years later, Pence wrote an editorial attacking the Disney film Mulan for showing a woman in combat, concluding women in military, bad idea. And you're thinking,
shit.
Well, come on, he grew up in the 1950s, it's just a generational thing. No, he didn't. He's 58 years old. Pence is 3 months younger than Flavor fucking Flav. He has no excuse there. And that is just one of many ludicrous
Yo, he's going
Pence has
in.
expressed over the years. He also argued for the teaching of intelligent design in schools. He expressed a hope to consign Roe versus Wade to the ash heap of history. And as governor of Indiana, responded to an HIV outbreak among drug users by dragging his feet on allowing needle exchange programs, during which time he said he was going to go home and pray on it. Which, and I realise this isn't necessarily the most relevant criticism here, but can't you do that from the office?
Oh!
But perhaps the issue Pence is most associated with is his hostility to LGBT rights. And it is not just me saying that. His boss seems to think so too.
The New Yorker, citing a campaign staffer, reports that behind closed doors, Trump had a habit of mocking Vice President Mike Pence's religiosity. When the conversation turned to gay rights, Trump motioned towards Pence and joked, "Don't ask that guy. He wants to hang them all."
And look, Trump is clearly joking about that. But it is also the kind of punchline that only works if we all know the premise behind it to be true, like jokes about terrible airline food, or bad breakups, or how people from Toronto are terrified of hard-boiled eggs. They're jokes based on universal knowledge we all agree on.
Damn.
And the truth is, Pence is not and has never been a friend of the gay community. Over the years, he's fought anti-discrimination laws that would have protected them. He's also opposed allowing gays to serve in the military, openly or otherwise, with his campaign's website saying homosexuality is incompatible with military service. And he once defended the sanctity of marriage in another surprisingly passionate speech.
Marriage was ordained by God, instituted in the law, is the glue of the American family and the safest harbor to raise children, and it must be defended against the onslaught of the left in the Congress, in the courts, and if need be, in the Constitution of the United States of America.
Holy shit! If I may quote one of America's greatest philosophers.
Jesus ain't say that.
Oh shit! He looped it around! He looped it around!
You remember when Pence made national news by signing a controversial Religious Freedom Restoration Act, which many felt enabled businesses to discriminate on the basis of sexuality.
Angie Alexander and her wife Cynthia believe it's an invitation to discriminate by refusing service.
You know, we don't know what restaurants or what stores we can go into and, you know, not be turned away and have to suffer, you know, that's degrading, it's embarrassing.
Yeah.
Exactly. People were afraid of being turned away from restaurants, and it is bad enough for someone to privately dislike you for your sexuality, but it's even worse to be publicly told that you are too gay for waffles.
Wow.
And yet, when this possibility was raised to Pence by his arch nemesis, George Stephanopoulos, he refused to even engage in the question.
So, yes or no, if a florist in Indiana refuses to serve a gay couple at their wedding. Is that legal now in Indiana?
George, this is where this debate has gone with misinformation and
it's just a question, sir. Yes or no?
Well, there's been shameless rhetoric about my state and about this law and about its intention all over the internet.
Do you think it should be legal in the state of Indiana to discriminate against gays or lesbians?
George,
it's a yes or no
question. Come on, Hoosiers don't believe in discrimination. But that's neither the word yes nor the word
that's what I'm saying!
It's the word Hoosier, which isn't an answer to any question besides what's a good derogatory slang term for an owl with a drinking problem. Look at yourself, you Hoosier. You're gonna go fly into a fucking tree. Get your life together.
Oh my God!
Fucking Hoosier.
Oh my God!
But while Hoosiers may not believe in
I live in
discrimination,
Kentucky,
Mike Pence clearly does. And yet, interestingly,
oh my God.
one specific allegation
going
on concerns whether or not he supported gay conversion therapy, a question that frankly didn't come out of nowhere.
When Mike Pence ran for Congress in Indiana in the 1990s, his campaign agenda included this: resources should be directed toward those institutions which provide assistance to those seeking to change their sexual behavior. According to the vice president's spokesperson, Mr. Pence did not and does not support gay conversion therapy.
Okay, well, I personally find that denial complete horseshit. I will acknowledge that the language on his website was very carefully worded. It does give him
You know what I feel like?
And his denial is the grossest effort I've seen to reverse a decision made in the early aughts, apart from
I feel like
Russell
by him,
Crowe's
like,
actual upcoming
trying
divorce
to, like,
auction
reject
to settle his 2003
all of
marriage.
these
It is
fucking-
called Russell Crowe, The Art of Divorce. It's real and it's amazing. And you can buy items such as this leather jockstrap used during the filming of Cinderella Man. Will we be stupid enough to bid on that? I don't know.
Oh, no.
Why don't you ask one of our 5 wax presidents? The point here is, that's not the point. The point here is,
No, what I'm saying is that, like,
denies supporting conversion therapy, but
I
that's
feel like
a little
Pence
hard to take,
is like
considering how much he has
if
praised
he's acting like
someone
this, I don't
closely
know. I'm not
associated
trying to
with
say
him.
anything,
Because
but,
one of
like,
his mentors is
read
the
in between the
notorious
lines.
homophobe
Read
James
in
Dobson.
between the lines.
And if you are not familiar with him, I'll let him introduce himself in a truly unsettling way.
I represent an organization called Focus on the Family, which a 3-year-old one time called Poke Us in the Fanny. And, you know, that's not far off from what we're trying to do in some ways.
That's right.
Oh my
I guess
God.
you could say we're thrusting ourselves into the whole of American spiritual life and reaching around to grab the tent poles of secular decadence,
Oh
because
my God.
that's what Focus on the Family is all about, having gay sex. That's right,
my God.
reducing the rate of gay sex by at least half. The organisation that Dobson founded, Focus on the Family, has a history of promoting conversion therapy. For a decade, it sponsored a conference addressing, understanding, and preventing homosexuality called Love One Out, which could not sound any more like a euphemism for masturbating. As in, all this talk of being poked in the fanny really makes me want to go and love one out.
Oh my God, dude.
Dobson also wrote a book titled Marriage Under Fire, in which he stated, Focus on the Family promotes the truth that homosexuality is preventable and treatable. And he produced a video series in which he elaborated on that theme.
We want to talk about the prevention and treatment of homosexuality in boys. There are more than
This is fucking
1,000
crazy,
who are
dude.
being treated at any given time for homosexuality. They don't all change. It's not easy to change. I don't want to imply that it's just a simple thing. You just decide you're not going to be homosexual anymore. No, there are deeply rooted factors that account for this, and they are tough to whip.
Now, obviously, there is no such thing as the homosexual agenda, but if there were, whipping bad boys by the thousands wouldn't not be on it. Now, Dobson left Focus on the Family
Yo,
in 2010.
that's what I'm saying.
and
Read
they
in
have
between
since
the
claimed
lines,
they have
dude.
softened their message.
Read in between
But
the lines.
if you go to their website right now, you will find articles like When a Loved One Says I'm Gay, The Stages of Grief, and Why We Support Sexual Orientation Change Efforts. Not to mention the fact that their logo still features a child who dismembered her parents and is holding their severed arms aloft in some sort of gruesome, impish victory dance, and I think that's just sick. while Pence may claim that he did not and does not support gay conversion therapy, he very much supports those who support it. Because just last year, as vice president, he was in Colorado saying this.
It is great to be here on the 40th anniversary of Focus on the Family. Allow me to acknowledge the founder of this ministry, a man who became the author of an enormous body of work that has inspired millions, and he's been a friend and a mentor to me, Dr. James Dobson.
Look, saying you don't support conversion therapy and then calling Dobson your mentor is like saying you're a staunch vegetarian and a law-abiding citizen. And by the way, please meet my lifelong friend and mentor, the Hamburglar. And Pence is not saying that as a shitty radio host or an Indiana congressman. He's saying it as Vice President of the United States, in which role he also presented Dobson with an award just last June. And that is appalling. And all this makes it even more galling that at the start of this piece, I promised that I would mention one thing that I liked about Pence. And look, a promise is a promise.
Here we go.
Through gritted teeth, here it is. I kind of like his rabbit.
Oh my God!
Really,
see,
genuinely do. And also, I'm not the only one.
The vice president and his wife could kiss their audience's attention goodbye once Marlon Bundo was introduced.
That's right. The Pences have a pet rabbit, and his name is Marlon Bundo, which again, it kills me to say this, is an objectively good name for a bunny. And Marlon Bundo is a great rabbit. He has his own Instagram account. Here he is making an important phone call. Here he is making another one, this time using a landline.
Oh my God.
And here he is posing next to a strangely appropriate sign that says, "If you met my family, you would understand." Here's the thing, Marlon. I haven't, yet I still do.
Yeah, I understand.
The point is, Marlon Bundo is the most likeable thing about an otherwise unlikable man. Like how George W. Bush is a perfectly fine painter, or how Bill Cosby raised Americans' awareness of pudding, or how Roger Ailes is dead. Sometimes you can't deny that there's one thing you like about someone. And Bundo is actually about to get even more attention.
The first tell-all book to come out of the current White House is hopping into bookstores. Marlon
Oh my
Bundo,
God.
the pet rabbit of Vice President Mike
Cringe.
Pence. He's signing a deal to publish Marlon Bundo's A Day in the Life of the Vice President.
That is true. Marlon Bundo has a children's book coming out. This is it. It's being released tomorrow. There's even going to be a book tour, and I would love to say, fine, look, it's a fun, sweet book about a rabbit. Who gives a shit? But unfortunately, one of the stops on that book tour is a focus on the fucking family. So, congratulations, Pence. You even managed to ruin Marlon Bundo. Now, none of us can enjoy a book about your rabbit. Or can we? Because it turns out, in a complete coincidence, we also wrote a book about Mike Pence's rabbit that has also been published. In fact, while his is out tomorrow...
No way!
Ours is released right now.
No way!
There are a few small differences between the two books.
No way, dude!
Right away, that our rabbit has a bow tie, so there's that. Also,
my God,
our
dude.
story is about Marlon Bundo falling in love with another boy rabbit because our Marlon Bundo is gay, just like the real Marlon Bundo. The point is,
shit.
you can actually buy this book starting right now at Amazon and at betterbundobook.com, which should be easy enough to remember. Do you want the regular Bundo book or the Better Bundo book? It's at betterbundobook.com.
Yo!
All of our proceeds from this are going to the Trevor Project, which provides crisis intervention and supplementary services to LGBTQ youth and AIDS United, which works to end the AIDS epidemic in the United States. So those are two great reasons to buy this book. Another is that selling more books than Pence will probably really piss him off. So that's three great reasons.
Wow! He snapped it off! This man is snapping it off!
Audible.com, featuring Jim Parsons, Jesse Tyler Ferguson, Jeff Garlin, John Lithgow, Jack McBrayer, and RuPaul.
Yo!
Completely clear about this. This is actually a book for children. This is a real children's book. This isn't some adult book telling Mike Pence to go fuck himself, although in buying it, that's exactly what you would do. This is a sweet story about Marlon Bundo falling in love, and to prove it, here is just a taste.
Hello, my name is Marlon Bundo, and I am a bunny. This is the story of my very special day. As usual, after breakfast, I hopped to the garden to look at the flowers. That is when I saw him. The most beautiful bunny I had ever seen.
That's more like the
My name is Marlin, I said, but my family calls me Botus. It's short for Bunny of the United States. It's a
my God, dude.
My name is Wesley, and my family calls me Wesley,
said Wesley. We went on a long hop together. We hopped through the garden. We hopped right inside the old stuffy house. We hopped through very boring meetings with very boring people. At the end of our hop, I said, Wesley, I don't want to hop without you ever again. And Wesley said,
That's funny, because I never want to hop without you, Marlon Bundo, ever again.
And we both said,
We will get married and hop together forever.
Wow,
said the stink bug.
You can't get married!
The stink bug was in charge. All the animals listened to him, even though he was very stinky.
Wow.
Bunnies don't marry boy bunnies.
Is
boy
this real?
bunnies have to marry girl bunnies.
But don't worry, we have
Is this a real book?
a plan that involved all the animals in the garden.
And if you want to know how the story turns out, you are going to have to buy
Wow.
it. Please, buy it for your children, buy it for any child you know, or just buy it because you know it would annoy Mike Pence. You'd be doing
Wow.
everything in a really dickish way. And isn't that the dream at the end of the day? Again, you can find it at betterbundobook.com, or if you would prefer, at the website Focus on the Family, which we also own now. And additionally, if you prefer to donate directly to the Trevor Project or AIDS United, if you make a donation of $11.99 or more, you can get a free copy of the ebook. All the information is on our website. We've actually bought copies for every member of our audience tonight.
No, he's Oprah! Get the hell out of here! Wow, dude! Wow. Alright, that was fucking crazy. I love John Oliver, dude. I'm sorry. My brother's over here on the side telling me to fucking calm down. I'm fucking sorry, okay? I love that shit because of the build-up. It's all about the build-up. That's why I like watching John Oliver videos. Because he always does this shit. He always starts the video off with him talking about the piece, and he'll talk about it while giving us funny-ass tangents, but then it builds up to some climatic fucking end. And that was like... It was like a cute-ass climatic end, but it was still like holy fucking shit. Like, it's still like a fuck you to, you know, Mike Pence. That's what he's saying. Sorry, I'm not saying fuck you to Mike Pence, but he's saying fuck you to Mike Pence, so I have to inadvertently say fuck you to Mike Pence because he said it. Point is, he ended that shit in a very fucking awesome way, okay? I'm sorry. Like, I low-key want to buy that fucking book because I don't fucking know. Like, it was awesome, alright? It was fucking cool.
You cry.
What?
You cry.
Yeah, I'm fucking crying, dude.
Over a book.
Yeah, over a book because it's about what the book represents. I'm not gay myself, but I really do, you know, care for the homosexual community because I don't think that they deserve a lot of the injustices that they have been receiving. So any person or any subject that's willing to fucking take on whatever the fuck they're trying to... Dude, what the hell, dude? That could have been the fucking take right there, and you messed it up. I'm joking. Dude. So any person or subject, that's what I'm trying to say. You keep fucking me up. So any person or subject that's willing to take on that fucking, you know, task. Really, dude. So any person or any subject that's willing to, you know, publicly be like, fuck all the injustices that the homosexual community has been receiving. I don't know. It makes me feel like there's still hope in humanity for us all to come together and, you know, just fucking be great. You know what I mean? Truly make America great again. And I don't mean that in like the Donald Trump way, but I mean that in like the way, like when I say make America great again, I mean like make the world great again. But like that emphasis is on America, but you can switch out America for, you know, any country. You know what I mean? You can even switch out America for the world, make the world great again. But I don't fucking know. I don't mean that in like a negative way. I don't know. This is very awkward, so I'm just gonna basically end this video. This video was very fucking... I'm just gonna end this. But as always, guys, if you like my reaction, be sure to like and share this video for me. And if you're gonna do that, now leave a comment, tell me to interact in the future. And if you're gonna do that, how about you hit that subscribe button and join the family, guys? I'm sorry, fucking awkward right now. I bet this is gonna be like cringy as hell when I edit this shit. I'm gonna be like, oh my god, what the fuck? Why am I like so weird and shit? You know what I mean? So I'm talking to you, DeAndre, that's editing this. Damn it! My brother Kyle's being weird. What are you doing, dude?
I'm having
He
fun.
like keeps sneaking into the room and like he
Well, your
stole-
door's right
he stole
there.
our fidget spinner.
Boy, no. Boy,
He's
this
a
is
thief.
mine.
You're a thief,
I
dude.
paid this with my own money.
What do you mean you paid? No, you didn't. Give me my fidget spinner
Nah,
back.
it's
You're a
mine.
liar, dude.
Nah.
Fake news over here. You're
Yeah,
like you're a
Donald
fake
Trump.
news. Yeah, you're a Donald Trump. That's what you
You're
are.
a
You're a
Donald
Donald Trump. You're like
You are
spitting
a
fake
Donald.
news. Oh my god. Why?
You got a problem with that?
I do got a problem
Well,
with that.
then
and We can
deal with
let's
it.
fight right now, then, bro.
Okay.
Come on, bro. Come on, bro.